Moving on to Virginia's Attorney General writing to all 123 sheriffs in his state, asking them to donate their expired or excess body armor and tactical equipment to be sent overseas to help Israeli forces fighting on the front lines against Hamas.
Joining us now is the man leading the donation effort, Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares. Jason, good to see you, Attorney General. So, how successful has this drive been? Are your sheriff's departments giving their excess material, resources, so you can send it over to the IDF, number one? And number two, I know you've gotten some pushback from people saying, hey, listen, we got some poor counties in our state. Maybe you should give that equipment to them, not ship it over to Israel.
Well, I want to be clear. What we ask for our sheriffs and law enforcement communities, if you have body protection, body armor that's already slated to be destroyed, that surplus, donate it. If this in any way impacts your ability to do your job, to keep your community safe, obviously don't donate any. I think we've had about 24 sheriffs and police departments that have said, I had one that reached out and said, hey, we have literally 60 protective armor vests that we literally are about to destroy. We're glad to help ship them out over for the IDF, particularly for the first responders right now. They're going to be at the front line saving lives, because as so many Americans, we saw what was happening in Israel. We woke up October 7th. We were horrified by the slaughter and the targeting of the innocents. And we thought it was important to stand up and do our small part.
Well, General, Mark Zuckerberg's Meta getting slapped around slapped with a lawsuit filed by you, the state of Virginia, and in total, 41 other attorneys general throughout the country suing Meta in both federal and state courts, alleging, this is involving Instagram and Facebook, that have fueled a mental health crisis among our children, young people, because of profit, that being Meta's motive. You say that they knowingly designed and deployed harmful features on Instagram to basically they knew were addictive to get these kids hooked. Where do you proceed from here?
Well, I mean, first of all, understand we have a crisis, a mental health crisis with our young people, both with teenage girls. 1 in 3 teenage girls have had a suicidal thought or iteration in the last 12 months. We've seen depression skyrocket. And what we've seen is that Meta then misrepresented to the general public the impact their social media platforms, particularly Instagram, was having on the mental health aspects of our youth. And so they both knew it, they misrepresented, and then they targeted intentionally. So 45%, it's estimated, of every 10, 11, or 12-year-old in this country has an Instagram or TikTok account. And the reality is Meta understood that they could target young people under the age of 13, which is a violation of federal law. There's federal law that says you cannot be on these social media platforms without a verified adult parental permission. And they essentially allowed these young people to get on there knowing them and actually describing it as a target, a new group to target. And one individual we know from reports referred to some of their apps as behavioral cocaine, that they were literally sprinkling these apps that were designed specifically to get young people to stay on. Because the way Meta views this is the longer you stay on their app, the more money they make off of you. And if they can get you on their app when you're 10, 11, or 12 years old, they have you as a client for the next 10 years. Folks, that's not that different than what Big Tobacco did back in the 70s and 80s. They were doing commercials and cartoons like Joe Camel. They knew if they locked you in, they had you as a client for the next 10 years. And now we know they knew the horrendous impact, the continued use of social media with self-harm videos and others that were impacting our youth. And so this is a bipartisan effort because we are feeling and hearing from so many parents, they feel like they have no control. And these social media giants were understanding it, and Meta is at the top of the list.
Every parent, every grandparent that has kids in this age group know that this is like crack cocaine. You can't get these kids off, and it is addictive. So thank you for doing the hard work. And by the way, a bipartisan effort, Democrats and Republicans sticking together to look out for our kids. Attorney General Jason Miyares, thank you for joining us, and thanks for taking on this fight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.